Hey there, Leo. Welcome to your reading for the November 2025. We're going to jump right in here, Leo. You have this card that says you're very close to achieving your goal. And you also have this card that says a fiery climax approaches. So clearly, you are very close to achieving your goal with both of these cards, kind of representing the same thing here, Leo. You have the star. Sometimes I feel with the star card, the star kind of says, keep your eye on the prize. Don't get distracted. Don't lose focus. Not that you would, but, the star, there are these 7 stars around the star itself on the star card. And those are the 7 stars of the Pleiades, but sometimes I think the star card basically says that you just need to keep your eye on the prize. Like I said, the main star that is showing up there, the main goal that you have, and you just need to work straight towards it. And if you do that, then good things will happen. And that is pretty much what I would do here. In your first row for your current general energies, you have the Knight of Wands, the Strength card, and the Star card, obviously. The Knight of Wands can be about going on an adventure or being more spontaneous. I do feel that for you a little bit here, Leo, that it would be a good time for you to be more spontaneous, to enjoy things more, enjoy life more, kind of be willing to go on adventures. But again, the thing about him is that he's willing to be spontaneous. He doesn't need things to be perfect. There's something about this month, November, where I feel, and one big thing that we have going on is the South Node in Virgo. South Node in Virgo can make us think that things need to be perfect, or can make us feel like we need to make things perfect, or, whatever. So I kind of feel this is saying, be willing to be messy. And we have Mercury retrograde this month as well. So, it is kind of a good time to make mistakes. I always say that Mercury retrograde is probably one of the best times to make a mistake on something because you learn about a billion times faster during a retrograde. You show up here as the Strength card, so whenever you show up as yourself, it kind of puts you in a position of power and strength and allows you to get what you want from the reading. The Strength card is patience. I feel like you have been very patient for something. It is kind of funny because, we go over here to the Eight of Wands, and I kind of just feel like that Eight of Wands is encouraging you to stop being patient. It's like saying that you've done enough, or, you've kind of waited long enough for something and it's time to, make your move basically and stop waiting. So the Strength card says you have the inner strength necessary to be able to handle, whatever your goal is or whatever you're working towards. You have the Star card. Again, like I said, the Star card wants you to focus on this one big star right here. I feel like you've asked for something, Leo, and you just have to get into this pool of water. This is the pool of universal consciousness, and she is sending these ripples out onto the water. So she has asked for something, but all she has to do is immerse herself in the pool, and she will get what she wants. But the thing about the star is that sometimes I think we can just be dipping our toes in the water when we really need to kind of dive in to that pool of water. We need to get into the pool of universal consciousness so that we can have something. And so we really have to be and bathe in the energy of what we want to get it. And so we have to, kind of act as if we already have something that we're hoping and wishing for. And I feel if you do that, it'll probably make all the difference in the world here, Leo, just based off of everything else that's coming up. You even have the Four of Wands in your next row. And right here. And the Four of Wands can be marriage, but the Four of Wands is about making the full commitment to work on something. And I feel like I've said this to you before, Leo, but again, I think this year, 2025, even though we only have a couple months left, it's a year where it's we can't just dabble. We have to go all the way. We have to be fully committed to whatever we're trying to accomplish. With the Knight of Wands, you have the Magician. No, it's what's popping into my head here is there's nothing you need to change, as well. It's kind of a weird thing here, Leo. The Magician is a card of reinvention. And, he has this snake here. And, yeah, sure, it can represent manifestation and all that other stuff. But, whatever, great. I think for you, it's saying that you are thinking... I just have this feeling that you are thinking that you have to change, or something would have to change for you to have, a wish or something that you're wishing for. But I feel like the Magician is saying, no, you were built for this. Those are, the words I'm getting. Is that Leo is built for something that they're trying to manifest, but I think that's the little switch that needs to happen in your head. It's you don't have to manifest it because you were made for it. there's a big difference between those two things, right? I would think about that if I were you. With the Strength card, you have the Page of Wands. A lot of Wands energy here. Could be a kind of, I think you're starting a year of action. It could be starting now. All of 2026, from now and all the way through 2026, you could be taking a lot more action on things. And I kind of feel like this is only the start, only the beginning here, Leo. And, it could be a very active time. I think a lot of people will notice this next year, like action, activity, things like that. This is the year of the snake. Next year is the year of the horse in the Chinese zodiac. So, I think a lot of you could be finally taking action. With the Star card, you have the Justice card. Justice is cause and effect. It's like, I actually feel that it would be a good time for you to like stop looking for evidence. It's one of those things where sometimes I think people start something like a business or a project or a relationship, and it's like they put in a little effort and then they like check to see if it's working or not. I almost feel that the Justice card is saying no checking, as in you need to act as if it's just working, whatever it is that you're doing. It's almost like there's a certain level of confidence that this reading is asking you to have. We have the King of Wands, which is, of course, also confidence, right? And so I feel like, having the confidence and saying, no, this is working, like 100%, even if you have to brainwash yourself, that's kind of more the message that I'm getting off the Justice card. And yeah, that's pretty much what I would do there. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Freedom of Time card. It says, the freedom to do whatever you want with your time is one of the ultimate benchmarks of an abundant life. You are the master of your own schedule. Yes. You have this Host card. It says, whether your space is physical or digital, you could find a lot of fulfillment in being a host. So there you go. I think it's an amazing time for Leos to be a leader as well, and like to lead groups of people, to share your thoughts. All those things would be very good for you. I do think Leos need to kind of like take their time back. I mean, if you're like, I don't know, 70 years old, it's like a lot of your time, your whole entire life has probably belonged to other people. And I feel it is time for Leo to take their time back. You have the Three of Cups, the Four of Wands, and the Seven of Swords. The Three of Cups can be a celebration, happiness, joy, good energy. It is your community as well. These three people are celebrating this harvest that's going on around them. And this month has been pretty abundant for people. So a lot of you could be attracting a lot of abundance, or you could finally be celebrating some sort of harvest. I always say that the Three of Cups is a card of concentrated connections. These are people who like really support you, the people who are really on your side, that lift you up. Definitely, I think that you and like the other fixed signs basically get this message all the time. So, it seems to be a fixed sign energy that fixed signs need to be very specific about who they allow into their life. As I've said to you before, Leo, I think you've learned a lot of lessons when it comes to people over the years, like who you can trust, who you can allow into your life, who can be part of your life, like all that stuff. And it's definitely something I would pay attention to with that card. You have the Four of Wands. Four of Wands can be like a celebration, happiness, joy. It can be marriage as well. You also have the Hierophant. So for those of you looking for love, sure, definitely could be marriage. Although I think this is more talking about freedom. The Four of Wands is a card of setting yourself free and, crossing this finish line. Usually with the Four of Wands, we have to like complete one thing and we have to cross through the middle here of the card to celebrate on the other side. You also have the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands also represents something, a quick conclusion is what I should say. You have this card, Fiery Climax. You also have that card that says you're very close to achieving your goal. And so, putting this all together, I feel like some of you could be celebrating reaching some sort of goal with that Three of Cups as well, because both cards represent celebration. And so I would, anything that you're wanting to wrap up or finish would be a good idea with the Four of Wands. I also get this feeling, Leo, that some of you might not feel ready, but, I kind of feel like you're as ready as you're going to be, is what the Four of Wands is saying, as in, it's like you might not be thinking that you're ready to show something off or to put something out into the world, but I kind of feel like you're as ready as you're going to be, so you might as well do it now. You have the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords can be lying, cheating, stealing, but, as always, Leo, Seven of Swords is really about doing something in a different way. He is stealing these swords from this army in the background here. So he's going to war, but in a different way. I'm telling you right now, pretty much all year, you've been getting this message that coming up with other ways of doing whatever the hell you're doing in life would be a really good idea. Probably like part of your superpower right now, Leo, is that you might have the ability to see things that other people don't. I think I said this to you. I think you're just a little bit early. This is not a bad thing at all, Leo. This is good, but I think it will be bad if you quit, right? So if you're working on anything, especially in work or business, but could be in your personal life, your health or whatever, it's almost like, I think I said this to you recently, it's like you're just a little bit early. It's like, it's like maybe people don't see your where you're coming from yet, or maybe they don't understand your vision just yet. Star card, right? And I feel like the Seven of Swords is basically saying keep going. You just need to wait it out a little bit longer, because people will eventually see whatever you're doing. So I feel like you're a little bit early to something, actually. With the Three of Cups, you have the Moon. Yeah, same thing. The Moon can be fierce fantasies, illusions, but it's coming up with the Three of Cups. It literally could be saying that people can't see where you're coming from yet, and you just have to keep going. The Moon also kind of tells us not to quit, right? The Moon is part of the Fool's journey. He has to get from here to these mountains, and we have these two pillars here on the Moon. The two pillars on the Moon say that the Fool has to make it to the top of this mountain. The two pillars kind of are a distraction to the Fool, and they say, they basically tell him, don't get distracted, finish what you've been working on. And again, you have fiery climax approaches, very close to achieving your goal, so it's definitely time for you to keep going here, Leo. With the Four Wands, you have the Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups is about walking away from things that no longer serve you. The thing is, with the Eight of Wands, we have to be light on our feet. Same thing with the Seven of Swords. He's kind of tiptoeing away from that army, right, with the Seven of Swords. And that is kind of more the energy I get here with the Eight of Cups. If there is anything in your life that's slowing you down, that's like an obligation, that's weighing you down or preventing you from being able to be more nimble and to move more quickly, then those are the things that you should be eliminating or walking away from, because I feel like you are not even just right now, but I would say until the end of 2026. This could be a big theme for you, that you need to be more nimble and able to move. Even the Knight of Wands, kind of the same thing. With the Seven of Swords, you have the Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles can be good news coming in for you, especially with the Eight of Wands right here. So some of you could be getting good news. Page of Pentacles is a card of studiousness as well. And so you could be learning a better approach to whatever you're trying to accomplish with that Seven of Swords. The other thing with the Seven of Swords is to not take things too seriously. And I definitely feel Leo needs to make sure they do this. Not take something too seriously. Even the Knight of Wands, the Page of Wands, both of those cards, they don't really care about the outcome. They just enjoy the journey, right? And sometimes the polka dots in the tarot can represent they basically say you need to not take things too seriously, but they can represent that when you start something that you need it to go a certain way in your head. And the Seven of Swords in this card are saying no, just allow something to work here, Leo, and things will go much better. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this Mars card. It says motion. You have this 12th house. It says introspection on it. So you are definitely taking action. We have all these Wands cards as well. So, definitely a good month for action for you here. The introspection energy, Moon, Eight of Cups can be very introspective as well. It seems to me like it could be a good month to mix the two things together, a good amount of introspection and also a good amount of kind of taking action on the thoughts that you're having. And so I would make sure to create balance between the two. You have the Hierophant, the Eight of Wands, and the Four of Pentacles. The Hierophant is probably Leo's challenge as well, I would say, especially with Neptune and Pisces. I don't know, I've been saying this to you for a while because it's true. I think that Neptune and Pisces is a direct challenge to traditional belief, and we all have certain rules that we give to things in our lives, and Neptune and Pisces is just like the little 4-year-old that's why, right? Children ask the question why all the time. And so Neptune and Pisces is why? Why do you have to run your business a certain way? Or why do you have to have a relationship that looks a certain way? Or, why does your health have to look a certain way? And there really is no answer, by the way, Leo. The answer is whatever you come up with. The answer is like maybe sometimes some traditional beliefs are good for us and some of them are bad for us. And, the Hierophant can be about looking at those belief systems that you have and figuring out which beliefs serve you and which ones don't. And, getting rid of the ones that don't. I also think Seven of Swords is outside the box. The Hierophant is sitting on top of his box here. So sometimes the Hierophant can encourage us to think more outside the box, and I would definitely do that with the Hierophant. You have the Eight of Wands, and I forgot to say, make sure to like and leave a comment, by the way, Leo. It really helps me out. But with the Eight of Wands, you could be making a lot of progress at this time. I feel progress. Eight of Wands, I don't really necessarily consider a card of progress, but it kind of is. And it is a card of completing something which you are very close to achieving your goal, fiery climax, all this other stuff, Four of Wands. So you definitely could be, bringing something to its conclusion. The Eight of Wands is also speed. I feel like there's a little bit of a need for speed here, Leo, where you need to lighten the load or lighten up your energy so that you can move more quickly. And I feel like that's what the Eight of Wands is wanting you to do. It's wanting you to make sure that you don't have any, obligations going into 2026, or, wants you to, if there are certain things that are like distractions, can you remove those distractions so you can move more quickly as we enter into the new year? And this is starting now. So I definitely feel this is like an important energy. On top of all that, I feel that there could be a lot of communication for you this month. We do have Mercury retrograde, but sometimes we can have more communication during a retrograde. So there you go. You have the Six of Pentacles. Yeah, bigger risks, I feel, for Leo, which, again, I'm pretty sure is something that comes up for you quite a bit. The Six of Pentacles is equal give and take. He's giving to this person, but not this person. He's giving to this person because this person gives back to him. So he's giving to things that give back to him. But I feel for Leo that this is saying you could make bigger moves towards the things that you're trying to accomplish. You could probably put in just a little bit more effort. And I feel like I said this to you recently. But sometimes I think that the Six of Pentacles wants us to have a bigger impact, or wants us to put work into projects, businesses, whatever. But it wants us to do things that create a bigger move. And that is kind of what I feel there. So let's see what comes up. With the Hierophant, you have the Ace of Cups. Yeah, it could be a love offer. If you want love, we have the Page of Pentacles, which could be a new person. We have two marriage cards here. It doesn't say you have to get married, but, definitely could be meeting a person that you have a deep commitment with. The Ace of Cups also wants you to do more things that you enjoy. The Ace of Cups is all about creating more fulfillment in your own life. And so with the Ace of Cups, we have to get this cup to overflow by doing things like hobbies, fun things, enjoying ourselves, taking care of ourselves, fulfilling ourselves. The more of that you can do, the better. With the Eight of Wands, you have the Seven of Pentacles. This could be a very rapid change in direction in your life, or there could just be a rapid change coming in for you. Seven of Pentacles, he's looking at what he has grown in life so far, and he's saying, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is it worth it for me to grow these pentacles, or is there something better that I could do with my time? That is the question that he is asking. So a lot of you could be asking that question, is there something better I could do? Is there something else I could do with my time? And again, Eight of Wands is quickly changing direction, so wouldn't surprise me. With the Six of Pentacles, you have the Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles, work hard, play hard, definitely seems to be important for you this month. The Ace of Cups, we have to, if we're trying to do things from an empty cup with the Ace of Cups, then we're going to have a hard time. And the Two of Pentacles definitely wants you to balance those two energies out. I think I've said this to you before as well, Leo, that sometimes I feel with the Two of Pentacles that an opportunity can be getting harder to ignore. There are these tiny little waves over here, and then they get bigger as they go across the card. So sometimes I think the Two of Pentacles can say that something in our life is getting harder to ignore, but not necessarily in a bad way. It's we can have an idea that keeps popping up in our heads, more and more and more. And the Two of Pentacles is saying, yeah, that's probably intuitive for you, Leo, so I would follow through on anything that you keep thinking about, whatever it is. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have the Scales of Balance. It says, find balance within yourself and things will balance out around you. We basically just said that. You have this helping hand. It says the universe is helping you find something you need that will lead to your next steps. So yes, needing to follow your intuition so that you can figure out what your next steps will be. I would say that this Mercury retrograde is probably good for you for discovering your next step. So, a lot of you could be doing that. You have the King of Wands, the Nine of Swords, and the Knight of Pentacles. King of Wands is about needing to be bold, assertive, confident, needing to really go for what you want. And that's definitely what I would do with the King of Wands, is be more bold, assertive, confident. I kind of feel like this is just you showing up in a strong position. So whenever you show up as yourself, it puts you in a position of power and strength. He has the gift of foresight. So he's a little bit, kind of like intuitive, innovative, all those things. And a lot of you could have like very futuristic ideas right now. You have the Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is good in the good stuff because it would say that you are bringing some sort of round and round situation to an end. So if you have been stuck in something or stuck dealing with something that has been repeating, or like some sort of repeat cycle in your life, it's like you're bringing a difficult cycle to an end here, Leo, and obviously that would be a good thing with this card. You have the Knight of Pentacles. Again, Knight of Pentacles in the good stuff is definitely making progress towards your goals, which this whole entire reading basically says you're very close to achieving a goal. I feel a lot of you have the opportunity to, build something much bigger in your life like he does. He has these empty fields behind him, which he could plant seeds in, and he could grow something that could lead to, a lot of abundance in his life. But, he has to take those steps to do it. And, with the Six of Pentacles, I'm pretty sure in your last reading I said to you that I wouldn't be playing small at this time, and I think this reading is saying don't play small. With the King of Wands, you have the Star. You started and you end with the Star card, which is great. The Star can definitely represent, achieving that goal or having that accomplishment. The Star is also like hope, faith, and renewal. And so it seems to me that there could be a lot of hope coming in for you this month, or you could be discovering something that gives you hope, which is great. I would just, again, the whole distraction thing, right? I do feel that on the Star card for whatever reason, that there could be certain things that distract you from from the actual goal that matters, and I would just maintain your focus. Not even worried about it, because you have the Queen of Swords with the Nine of Swords. Queen of Swords only has clouds halfway up her body. She is finally clear for the first time. She is seeing things more clearly. So I wouldn't even worry about it. Like I said, I feel that you are getting the clarity you need. She has her back to the whole entire reading. I really like when the Queen of Swords shows up in the last row, because it says you are more focused in the future. You are more focused on, doing things that are going to lead to a result. She's also like a little bit more cautiously optimistic. So you could find yourself being a little bit more optimistic about the future. With the Knight of Pentacles, you have the Page of Cups. Definitely could be an admirer or a secret admirer for you, Leo, if you're looking for love. Feels a little slow with that Knight of Pentacles. I'm not like the biggest fan of the Knight of Pentacles in love, because even though he's showing up in the good stuff, it's like more needs to happen, is what I would say. It's like this kind of reminds me, sometimes I feel like two people can be a good match if they can like overcome something. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing necessarily, Leo, but what I am saying is it's like, I don't know. It's like sometimes you meet a person, it's like maybe you have a different communication style. It's like not a bad connection. It's like if you could figure each other out, then things would go well. And, that's kind of what I feel here. It's almost like, I don't know. It's like imagine if you had like a, it's like I see this a lot with people, like couples who have like one has like a water moon and the other one has like an air sign moon. It's like air sign moons can be like more cold and detached. A water sign moon is more, emotional, wants the deeper connection. It's like these connections aren't necessarily like bad necessarily if you can get over the whatever needs to happen between the moons there, right? If you can understand each other. But it's like that has to happen in the first place. And so if you want love, and if you meet a person, or if you are meeting a person this month, then, it's like that might be something to think about, like kind of like overcoming. You have this younger man card, says dealings or relationships with a younger man. You have this tiger, it says doing something risky, taking a chance. You could be taking a risk on a new person, like a younger person, or maybe you're the younger person, I don't know. But there you go. You have this nest card that says an emotionally secure, loving family is important to you. I mean, you're a Leo, so yeah, makes perfect sense. And a lot of you could be thinking a lot about that. You have this rat. It says someone working against you behind your back. Yeah, like I said, Leo, for many years you have had to learn difficult lessons with the people you work with. It is what it is. I think every Leo out there has probably had some sort of issue with a person they've been working with at some point over the past many years, if not multiple. And like I feel like you have learned what to look out for, and it's like this is about trusting that. You have this June card, and you have this fire. It says strong emotion, passionate love or hate. Yes, we see a lot of passion in this reading with the Wands cards, Leo, so I would be feeding the love side of things, of course. And finally, you have this Dolphin card that says financial gain usually coming from something you did in the past. Like I said, Leo, I feel it's like some of you are like just before something. Like I was saying, it's like you're early or something is the message I get for Leo. It's like maybe people aren't understanding like what you're doing, which is fine. Who the hell cares, right? And it's like maybe people don't understand it yet, but they will. And I really feel part of this reading is saying like, keep going, don't give up now, right? But this looks pretty good. So thank you for being here. Make sure to like, leave a comment, and definitely enjoy your month.